Consumer spending blasts expectations, causing concerns that inflation's coming. Meantime, outages ripple across the Midwest, and the continuation may still be far from over. Then, going bigger and bolder, Democrats tell the president his stimulus package is too small, and they're ready to not roll over, and neither should you. Big developments across the board on a big afternoon's recording as Wall Street to Main Street, my home to your home, reacts to the breaking financial news. This is a special recording of Afternoon's LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoon's LA on a Wednesday afternoon here in Los Angeles. The sun is out, it's warm, and it's breezy, but that's not the condition in the Midwest, where outages continue. More about that in a second. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. This is the most comprehensive financial news channel across the globe, reporting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, giving you the most up-to-date information about your stimulus check, your relief, and financial security across the board. With 99 million views and less than a few days away from 9 months complete, let's get to 100 million views, so make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get early access and information to video before anyone else, and information of the details in the third stimulus package before it hits the newswaves. In this recording, I'm going to go over the crippling surprise across Wall Street today as January retail sales, spurred by lockdowns being lifted, shocked analysts, causing concerns of inflation worries. But ultimately, I have the Fed statements minutes ago, and that's the reassuring great news. And then I have bigger and bolder Democrats take on the president, saying his stimulus package is not particularly big enough. I have all that great news as well. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you start a Wednesday afternoon is that January's consumer retail numbers blew away estimates. Wall Street was expecting 1.2% increase, and the number came in at over 5%. In December, the number decreased, as people faced lockdowns and growing COVID-19 concerns. But while they're expecting a growth of 1%, the number was through the roof in January. This was spawned by the lifting of lockdowns, reduced COVID concerns. But ultimately, the reaction to the number was the big news today. Wall Street analysts said this may signal the inflation horizon about to erupt. Meantime, there was concerns about another number released today, which showed that inflationary concerns were the worst since 2009. The inflation numbers that were released today showed that consumer items like milk and eggs went up more in the last 30 days than they had gone up since 2009, the fastest increase in 30 days in nearly 2 decades. So is this an inflationary concern? Some Wall Street analysts believe it is. This impacts your stimulus. Let me explain to you the scenario at hand. There's a concern that if their prices are going up and that the consumer spending is going up, then ultimately the Fed will stop buying items from the economy to bolster up the economy. The Fed will raise interest rates. The Fed will not back stimulus. And that ultimately will enter an inflationary period of time in which the stock market will contract and it'll be harder to live. Well, is that true? No. A document obtained by LA minutes ago shows the Fed's minutes from their January meeting. And the Fed's minutes say, we're not changing course. We know that numbers are going to get better. We know that COVID-19 vaccination numbers will be great. By July, we could see 60 to 70% of the U.S. economy vaccinated. That doesn't mean we're changing our course with the Federal Reserve, and we don't think there's going to be inflation. Participants noted that economic conditions were currently far from the committee's long-term run goals, and the stance for policy would need to remain accommodative until those goals were achieved. Bottom line is that while consumer spending is up, consumer savings is down, the real core at issue is that there's no jobs. That ultimately, if more people are vaccinated, there's no jobs to still go to. And this impacts your stimulus. Under the third stimulus package, let me give you the broad stroke overview before I go back to the details. Stimulus checks will be $1,400 for individuals, $1,400 for children, $1,400 for adult dependents, $2,800 for a married couple. Then, if you are a 5-year-old to a newborn, you're going to get a $5,000 stimulus check, $1,400 plus $3,600. If you're 6 years old to 17, you're going to get $1,400 plus $3,000. If you're a college student, you're going to get $1,400 plus $1,700. If you're paid sick leave, you're going to get $1,400 plus $1,400 a week. If you are a business owner, $1,400 plus $5,000. And if you're a essential worker, $1,400 plus $1,500 if you made less than $25,000 2019 earnings. Let's go back over all those numbers one at a time. First, if you were an essential worker and made less than $25,000, you're going to get a stimulus check and you're going to get the earned income tax credit of $1,500. But that won't be paid potentially until next year. Number two, if you're a business owner, you can get a stimulus check and you're going to get a $5,000 EIDL grant. But you may get other things. There's an add-on and there's an additional option to get some PPP grant money as well. Don't forget, there's PPP grant money currently available now as law under the second stimulus package. Then let's cut back to those college students. $1,700 of student aid plus $1,400 stimulus check. And then we're over to the paid sick leave. If you had to stay home from work because you have COVID, your husband or wife or family member that lives in the household has COVID, or your child had to stay home because school is closed because of COVID, or you had a quarantine even though you're healthy, or you have COVID, up to $1,400 a week based on a $73,000 annual salary. So that's on top of your $1,400 stimulus check. Let's cut over the children. The children ages 6 to 17 will get $3,000. That's paid $250 a month starting the month of July for 1 year. If you're a child 5 years to newborn, you can get $3,600, paid $300 a month starting for the month of July going forward for 1 year. That's on top of your $1,400 stimulus check. Now, as you sit here today, you may wonder, one group is clearly not mentioned in that equation. Actually, there's a few groups. First, hazard pay. We don't know anything yet about the hazard pay individuals. How much? How is it qualified? Is it $10,000? Is it $13 an hour? We don't know anything about it. That's why we're anxiously waiting the bill. More about when we'll see the bill in a second. Next, the big question is SSI and SSDI. That turns us to the breaking development today, which is that Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, two Democrats in the Senate, who wrote in March 2020 the SSI and SSDI bill of $200 a month on top of your existing benefits, can do this very simply again. They just reintroduce the same bill to the Senate, and it's done. They just introduced the bill to the Senate, and it's done. It goes for a vote, it would pass. It goes to the House, it would pass, and lands on the president's table, and it would be signed. It's as simple as that. Their bill had all three items in it. It had the $200 a month on top of your existing benefits for 1 year. Don't worry about the retroactiveness of it because their bill was not retroactive. It just said forward 12 months. So 12 months, $200, $2,400. Done. Simple. Number two, a new benchmark, different than COLA. COLA doesn't increase as eggs and milk go up. COLA would be replaced by CPIE, a better benchmark that raises more as inflation kicks in. Third, a new different lifetime increase. Lifetime increase up to 20% that would raise your benefits and would continue lifetime. Very simple. So will they do it and won't? Why haven't they done it? The answer is very obvious. Hashtag don't roll over. Hashtag don't roll over. That was the big message that came out of the White House. Not the White House, came out of Capitol Hill today. As Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, the authors of that SSI bill, said they're not going to roll over. But what were they not going to roll over? About another bill that they introduced about a week ago. If you've been with this channel for a while, I told you in December that Chuck Schumer was going to ask the president on day one by executive order to forgive $50,000 of student loan debt. If you remember when I first reported that in December, it was on a Monday or Tuesday Chuck Schumer said that. On Friday, the president said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll do maybe a little bit less, but I don't want to do it. But I'm not going to do it by executive orders. I'll ask for a bill on my table. Well, then the weeks that followed, about 2 weeks ago, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer introduced the $50,000 student loan debt bill and also asked the president to do it by executive order, met with him. He said, no, I'm not going to do it by executive order. And I'll think about the $50,000 bill. Well, today and yesterday, he said, I'm not doing $50,000. I'll do $10,000. Well, for the second time in a row, or maybe third time in a row, it depends on how you're counting it, Chuck Schumer, Nancy, and Elizabeth Warren did not roll over. They said, no, we're going to urge him to go to $50,000. We appreciate his support for $10,000, but we're not rolling over. We're going to $50,000. That's the spirit of this channel, and that's the spirit of Democrats currently, who are saying, you know what, the president doesn't want to do certain things, push back and see if you get your way. And ironically, it's working. That's the real message of this recording. In the last week, this channel has detailed a few occurrences where this has happened. First, the airlines were reportedly supposed to have a restriction on certain types of travel that would require a COVID test. Airlines didn't like it. Came from the Biden administration. They met with the Biden administration. They pushed back, and the Biden administration said, we're not going to do it. Thank you. You can go on your way. It happened with the teachers. The Biden administration was set to open schools completely across the board, very, very broadly. And then the teachers union met with the Biden administration, said, no, we're not going to do that. You can't order us back into schools. We demand vaccinations. We have not gotten vaccinated. The Biden administration pulled back again and issued a 5-point instruction on Friday and Saturday that was tailored to what the union had said to them. In 2 cases, unions pushed back, and the White House said, no, we're not going to do it. This is consistent with what Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer are doing now, pushing back. And they're not alone. Senate member out of Ron Wyden out of Oregon said he's going to push back about FPUC. He doesn't like it. It needs to be bigger. There's currently 2 other senators who are pushing back about the $15 minimum wage. They say they're not going to support it. It needs to be out of there. We'll support other stuff that needs to go bigger, but we're not going to support that stuff. That's really where things are going right now, is that while the Democrats control the Senate, House, and the presidency, the senators especially who are in the Democratic Party say, no, we want bigger stimulus. Here's the message to take away with in this recording. The new economic data suggests that by July, you could have 60 to 70% of the U.S. population vaccinated. That means by July, you could see mass reopening of businesses, schools, amusement parks, casinos, bars, restaurants, interior dining. That doesn't mean there'll be jobs back, but they may be reopened. That will spur the economy. Ultimately, if that is the case, now is the opportunity to push back for more stimulus. Because while Nancy Pelosi confirms there'll be one more stimulus package after this, if the economy continues to improve, you may not see a 5th stimulus package. While you'll see a 4th, you may not see a 5th or 6th or 7th. It is time and place now to push, because these are the big stimulus items you deserve. Coming up right after this recording is 3rd stimulus. On that recording, I go over more about the deal items and how in the 3rd stimulus package you can get a lot of items. Meantime, I'll cut back to the States and go over rent and utility assistance. I'm going over purple again. I'll be explaining how you can get that rent and free utilities money right now. Not 5 days from now, not 5 months from now, not 5 years from now. And then after that, I'm back live with Chuck. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Get ready for the new LALATE coming out shortly. It's coming in the next few days, and I don't want you to miss it. Stay with LA for more.